Hi, I'm Mike Yanessa. Welcome to another episode of Car Stories here at Wheels of Motion at 525 East High Street.
Hi, I'm Mike Yanessa. Welcome to another episode of Car Stories here on PCTV. I'm doing something a little different on this show. I go to many shows throughout the year, and I bought this little camera, and I filmed the AACA National Convention in Center City, Philadelphia, and I filmed the Atlantic City Classic Car Auction. So the AACA, that's Antique Automobile Club of America. If you have an original car, it's something you might want to check into. It's a lot of fun. They have events all around the world. And one of the biggest ones in our area is Hershey. And for example, if you have an original car or motorcycle or scooter, you would take it to Hershey, and they would judge it on originality, and you would get your junior or your senior or your national award. That adds value to your car, and it verifies that it is a very original restored car. They don't get into numbers or date codes or anything real heavy. They're basically looking at fit, finish, and that the car has the original floor mats, the original hubcaps, or they have a class where the car is unrestored. And my 59 Impala went there and got its award for being preserved. It's called HPOF. It's a historic preservation of an original car, and meaning that it wasn't repainted. It was very, very original. So that's a little bit on Hershey and the AACA. Throughout the country and the world, we have AACA members and their shows. And they have, let's just say, about 10,000 cars that are nominated for national awards. Out of that, they can pick from 10,000 cars to give a national award to. And they pick 48 cars out of all them. And once a year in Center City, Philadelphia, they have the AACA National Convention. The award members are invited there to get their award officially. They have seminars, like I did a paint seminar on painting. They have seminars on old cars. They have programs for young children. And they have a mini trade show of sponsors and people, businesses. This year, the theme was pace cars. So there's a few pace cars, and there's vendors there promoting their product. And it's a really neat event. It's every February. This was February 14th in Center City, Philadelphia at the Sheraton. And like I said, people from around the world with antique cars meet there, and it's a real good time. So our first clip is of the AACA National Convention in Center City. So I had a trade show booth set up there. There's a picture of my booth. And there's some of the cars that we had on display. It's a real nice event. I mean, it's not a big show. There's only about 25 vendors, but you have people there from antique insurance companies. There's a group of people that you see there every year. There's hospitality suites up in the hotel where you can go have hors d'oeuvres and cocktails. And, it's a great way to see some people that are in the business. And it's a neat show. There's a bulletin board there of upcoming events, cars for sale, and different information. And the Sheraton's just a beautiful place to stay. I stay there every year. We eat right in the hotel, and like I said, you get to see friends that I might only see once a year at the AACA National Convention. This is great right here. Look at the young boys dressed in period clothing from the 30s, 40s, and this gentleman is teaching them the basics of automobiles. And he has little quizzes for them. He shows them the operation of different components. And then afterwards, they have a giant pizza and ice cream party for the young kid. It's promoting youth in the automobile hobby, trying to get them interested in old cars, because some of the generations haven't followed in the previous footsteps on the antique and classic car hobby. And it's a neat event. It really, really is cool. I stood there for quite a while and listened to the kids and their answers and observed how they, talked about the antique cars. And then, like this display right here with the Chevelle, that's a very rare Chevelle. It's a 1970 LS6 big block, one of a few hundred made. And the School of Technology restored it. Last year it was a bare frame with a motor in it. This year it's there completed, and it was done at the Automobile Technology School, and they did a very good job. And then, like behind it, there's a 2015 Corvette. They can pay, I think it's $50 for a chance to win that. All the profits from it go to a charity. And some vendors over here, the AACA stand right in front of you, clothing, keychains, jackets, T-shirts, toys for young fellas, young kids. And so the AACA has their booth set up where you can pick up some neat novelty items. But again, AACA is a good event, and the National Convention is a good one to attend, but you need to be a member to get the full benefits from it. Memberships on a national level is, I believe it's $35 a year. And then on a local level, it's $20 a year. And you get a magazine in the mail every other month that highlights the events and stories, great stories. This month's magazine is really interesting about some of the history of Indianapolis 500, history of the early automobiles, 1900, turn of the century. And remember I said the biggest event in our area is Hershey. Well, Bill Pollock, the owner of Pollock Steel, scrap steel here right in Pottstown, started the Eastern event at the Hill School in 1952. 1 year they had it at the Hill School, and it got so big they moved it to Hershey in the parking lot of Hershey Amusement Park, and it's been held there ever since. So talk about Pottstown being rich in history. The Eastern event that's now in Hershey was started right here in Pottstown at the Hill School. So, and like I said, there's other events. There's the Hornets Nest region in North Carolina. There's several events throughout the country where you can take your car, get it judged, and find out how good it is. And don't be don't be discouraged if they pick it apart, because then you can fix the problems and next year go back and get your award. It's done once a year, or like I said, if you travel to North Carolina or Virginia, you can do it in a quicker time, but most people just go to Hershey every year and keep improving their car. And what's on right now is the 59 Impala that was in my showroom that was bought at Kaiser Chevrolet new. That went to Hershey and got its preservation award. And this is the car I brought this year to the National Convention, and it really got well received because of its originality, because it wasn't restored. An original car is only original once. Once it's restored, you lose a lot of that originality. You can duplicate it, but here's one that is very little done to it. And this is the type of club that would really appreciate that car. So, and you can see throughout I was walking through, just filming some of the vendors. A guy to your left sells all type of automobile books on just about any car, the history of the automobile. And here's the AACA. This is the sign-in counter, and it gives you benefits of joining the Antique Automobile Club of America. So, very good time. It's not for everyone. It's not a big, exciting show with 1,000 vendors. It's a very small venue, but it's a getaway, and a lot of people, older people that travel throughout the year, this is one of their stops. And like, I've met people from New Zealand, I've met people from Canada and Ohio. It's not just a local thing. And the Sheridan, as you see in the video, is just a really nice place. Talk about fun though. I have to unload the car in the street. I have to wait for the red lights to change so there's no traffic, and unload this priceless original car in the snow, by the way, and unload the car in the street, pull it into the parking garage. It goes up on an elevator to the 3rd floor where this show's held, and it's put in. So it's a hectic, very, very stressful event for me to get a car into the building, or anyone. So that's the AACA. The next show I did, which is February 27th, was a show I've been doing for 30 years, and it's on the screen now, is the Atlantic City Auto Auction in Atlantic City, New Jersey. There's a small group of vendors. There's cars for sale, and then there's an auction. It's the closest thing you could probably get to a Barrett Jackson or a Mecum in Atlantic City. It's cool because it's in February when there's no other car things going on, and they get cars from all over the East Coast. The 71 Rolls Royce in front of you is what I brought down, and I ran it through the auction, and it went for almost what it was supposed to go for. But sometimes you make a little, sometimes you get less than you expect. But anyway, you can listen to the auction as it comes here. This is the lineup of the cars. Some of the coolest cars at the auction, they had the entire crew of cars from Boardwalk Empire. And they're all old cars. You can see them in the background, all the old rum runners. And they had a taxi there that was so cool. It was yellow, had said Atlantic City taxi on the side, fare 5 cents. So it was from the filming of Boardwalk Empire, and they all went off Saturday morning. Unfortunately, I missed them. I didn't get up early enough, and I missed them go through the auction. But that was a neat group of cars of Model A's, Model T's, 31 V16 Cadillac. I'm not familiar with the show, but if you're familiar with the show, you can see in the background Al Capone's 31 V16 Cadillac and the mayor's car, and here they are now on the screen. Just really, really cool. Pierce Arrow. You can see on the front there, Big Jim Cosmanos. Italian name, but I can't pronounce it. And then this was the mayor's car. And these three here are very high dollar cars. I would imagine they went for a lot of money. The other ones were probably something you could have got into for $7,000, $10,000 because they were beat up, not original, used trucks that they used for the movie. So, and this is the actual auction block. You have to be a registered bidder to get in. And here's a picture of me, and I'll let the sound take over here.
Well, here we go. The olds is going on through the auction block. We'll see what we can get. Earl Davis's 71 Rolls Royce Silver Shadow.
Turn the engine off.
That important.
The more money you get, of course,
That's
the more
right.
money the house.
Now, Alan said he's at Hershey's 20,000, 30,000. I mean, this is a great opportunity. You got 5,000, 6,000. Take it out, guys. 6,000.
They want you to roll it. So we're going to let that reserve.
Anybody want to do it? 5,500. Reserves off. I can find
I'll try to get you more. We're not done. Put that in neutral.
A little bit 55. I can find me a little bit 55. Find me a little bit 55. 2/3 away back on the left-hand side. In the black jacket. 55. 55. Find me a little bit 55. 51. 52. I get 51. 52. Take you 53. I get 53. You're out, Marty. A little bit 53. I get 53. 54 in black jacket. 54. 54. 55. I get 55. 56. I get 55. Maybe a little bit 56. 57. I get 57. Maybe a little bit 57. A little bit 57.
You can stop right here.
58. I get 58. 9. 59. 6. I get 59 on film.
Initial in this box and sign for me. And then I'm going to give you a copy of the sale ticket. Great, thank you.
All right, so there was a bird's eye view of what it's like to run a car through an auction, just about anywhere, but this one's in Atlantic City. And you can see coming out of the auction chute, they call it, there's the cars that didn't sell to your right, meaning they didn't hit reserve. You can have a reserve or you can not have a reserve, meaning that if the car goes for $1,000, you're taking $1,000. Or if you say, I need $10,000, the car won't sell it till it reaches that reserve. And there's your Boardwalk Empire cars there, lined up, ready to go, Mustang, Camaro. And it's at the convention center, which is right outside of Atlantic City. You can usually get a deal on a hotel room at one of the casinos, and that's what we did. We stayed at the Golden Nugget. Every year I've been doing this for a long time because it's my birthday. So that's what we do. We go down there, have a good time, go out to eat, see my relatives, and while we're there, we usually bring a car, or at least I'll go and walk around the auction and see what's there. So it's not just about cars. You can take your wife down. There's outlets there right in Atlantic City of all kind of jeans and shoes and so forth. There's a lot to do, but one of the things that I do is go to the Atlantic City Classic Car Auction in February. So now, I've been doing this show for a few years, and I always ask my viewers if you have anything, pictures to submit, or if you have films of cruising High Street, or anything about Pottstown's local history, or anywhere, in fact, racing. Well, I got a gentleman, a good friend of mine, Grant, brought me in this video that his family had gotten. We don't know where. We don't know what it's a video of. That's all we know. It's a bunch of old cars cruising High Street. They're all antiquers. People are dressed in period clothing. So it might be something from, the Bill Pollock days of the AACA at the Hill School, but the cars in the background, best we can tell, are like mid to late 50s. So we don't know what it is. So here it is for you to look at. If any of our viewers out there can say, hey, I remember that. That was a show that they held in Pottstown. Let me know. Call Wheels in Motion, or get in touch with Gus here at PCTV Network and tell us, what is this video of old cars cruising High Street? I can tell you it's at the east end of High Street, where McDonald's is now. And they take some shots from the left side of the road, and then they take some shots from the right side of the road. And here we go. Again, if you look at the cars in the background, nothing that I saw was later than like 57, 58. You can see some of the backdrop there, the buildings in the background, the cars in the background. And it goes on and on. This wasn't like 10 or 12 cars. This was quite a crew of cars. That's a vintage race car that just went by, and you can see, look at the clothing. Look at the umbrella that the lady had. This was done in Super 8 film, and they had it converted to a DVD, and they actually slowed it down, but it's still a little bit fast because the Super 8s were a little faster film speed. But I can't get a good look at any of the faces to recognize anyone, but maybe one of our viewers out there will know exactly what this old car cruise was on High Street. I'm going to say in the late 50s in the east end of Pottstown. So I thank you for bringing that in, and I asked everyone if you have any still photographs, movies of High Street, cruising in the old days, bring them in and we'll put them on PCTV, and a lot of people will get enjoyment out of it. I know somebody out there knows what this is. And there we are. We're about like at what would have been Tyson Pontiac Cadillac, which is now Subway. That's about where the camera's at, on that side of the street, coming around the bend on East High Street. And there's some fabulous cars. There's no doubt about it. They're not, some of that was a Rolls Royce, and it's not a bunch of junkers. It's some really nice, rare, antique automobiles. Now we switch camera angle a little bit, and you saw there was a glimpse of the gas station that used to be where McDonald's is now. And see that car going by, that's like a, I don't know, 48 Chrysler, and we got a 53 Dodge, and if you look in the background, there's nothing there that's newer than, you know, the mid to late 50s. So anyhow, another episode of Car Stories. Thank you to PCTV and TellusVision for putting this together for us. If you want to view any of our past episodes, go to the PCTV network on the internet, and you can tell your friends that aren't in our viewing area also, hey, you can watch this story about Pottstown on the internet, and you can check out past episodes of everything that's on PCTV. And you can see some really cool shows that we've done over the past couple years. So, and it's brought to you by D&W Motorsports, which Dan always helps us with content and upcoming events, and my company, Wheels in Motion, which is at 525 East High Street in Pottstown, the former Dame Chevrolet building. And most of our shows are done there in the showroom, but this one was a little different. This was a couple films. And I hope you enjoyed it, the AACA convention, the Atlantic City auction, and this mystery film from early days of Pottstown cruising. So thanks again for tuning in. Until next time, this is Mike Yanessa.
Hey, hi folks, I'm Mike Yanessa.
Hey, we're excited about a new show on PCTV Network called Car Stories. Our show's about old car stories, new car stories, and local automobile history. Join us live every Wednesday on the PCTV Network. Hey, we're looking forward to hearing from you. Remember, it's live on PCTV.